found me no search. It's like you knew that inside I was hurting. I was so young, said no chance, but you gave me a shot at a romance. I feel like you were like an angel sent to bring me light. Now that I'm with you, me one say that me love it, that me love it, that me love. Hey, me no go one day wonder without my baby, without me love, without me love. And I dance and sing and I sing because you make my life complete. Oh yeah, oh yeah. I can't believe that this is for me. Oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah. I can't believe that this is for me. Oh yeah. Chada, 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 chada. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. It's for me. Chada, 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 chada. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. It's for me. I've never felt this way. So when they ask us, say, oh yeah, we're going all the way. So me, we happy, love you all the time and things. Sometimes I wonder if the thing could cut us under, to get under. I know, but your love in my life control that. I lay down my life this way, do anything to make you stay. All of the blessings, they come my way, and all the bad things, they turn and away. Sometimes life is such a scare. Your love gives me the strength to bear.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, it's from me. Greetings, greetings, family. Greetings, greetings. How are you all doing? Put a one up in the chat if you can hear me okay, please. And gratitude. Yes, that song is For Me, Fuhmi, For Me. That is by Hakeem. And you can find him on iTunes as well as Instagram under Clayton Terry. All right, I see some ones up in the chat. As you can see, I have a few things going up on my screen here. I got the word triggers coming through because I want you to understand that me and my guest, which is Maya J, we always have some pretty good conversations. We were having a conversation, and again, Yehuda have been trying to get me up on this contraption all day. And I've just been trying to nurse myself back to good health, and I feel pretty good at this moment. And I'm just trying to make it do what it do. But I will also put up my other band so you'll understand why I put up triggers. Because we're going to talk about bad signals and pleasing people to be accepted. Now, how are you, Maya J?
I am well. Greetings, Queen. How are you?
I am well. Greetings. I love your hair on that picture. It's a beautiful
Gratitude.
picture. So, oh girl, thank gratitude, Jasmine Hearns. Girl, I feel a lot better. I mean, earlier my eyeballs and fingers were hurting, teeth was hurting. I mean, everything was hurting. But contrary to popular belief, child, I had 3 Percocets left, and I'm down to one, and I'm feeling better. And my sister brought me some cold and flu NyQuil and some food, and I took me a shower, and so I'm feeling better. So huh, I sure did pop a perk. I sure did, honey. So now I'm feeling a little bit better and I'm happy about that. So we were having a conversation because I had no idea that um, a lot of people have no clue of what I'm talking about when I say bat signals, family. If you don't know what bat signals are, please put a one up in the chat, please, so I'll understand who does not understand why this topic is so important. So if you do not know what bat signals are, please put a one up in the chat. What up, Keita Renee, Cooley C, Nick T, Christina Martin? What up, Mo, Team Natural, Ashley Robinson? Okay, so we have a few people who do not know what bat signals are. Okay, well, we're going to dive into it, my J. Oh, I see Marion Rose. Oh, I love that. My mother's name was Marion. So, you say you took my bat signals class, still growing. Gratitude. Bat signals are scarring from your environment, from different things that's happened in your life that has caused triggers in your life. Bat signals are different things that people recognize in you. For example, I always talk about quote unquote Keisha and Tyrone. Um, Keisha may have grew up in a house where she didn't receive a lot of love and had to take care of her siblings. That would be bad signals. That's some scarring that she will take with her that Tyrone will most likely recognize inside of her existence and use it to his benefit. Okay. If you are a parent that constantly yells at your child, um, go sit your dumb ass down. You're causing bad signals in your children without knowing it. Bad signals are something that we do not want to have and that we are constantly working every day to get rid of, because we don't even know that we have them. And it is very important to recognize what your bad signals are. Even if you say you're just young and your mother passed at a very young age and you had to go from house to house, you stay with your aunt here, you stay with your grandma there, and you feel like nobody really treated you the way that they did when your mother was living. Hey, you have bad signals, you have scarring. Okay. So Maya J and I, we were having this conversation. I told her, see, come on with me, and then you just speak, and you speak about what you're comfortable speaking about, because she has bad signals and I have bad signals. Um, let's see. You say your class helped me a great deal. I'll be single until I'm sure my bad signals has changed. Absolutely. You said I'm trying to get rid of mine. I understand. And so the most important thing is recognizing what your bad signals are and that you have them, you know? So, Maya, do you know what your bad signals are?
Ooh. Um, um, I know of a few.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I deal with this signal of always worrying whether or not I'm going to be good enough, um, whether people really see me for who I am,
Mm-hmm.
whether I will be liked, or if people will appreciate me the way that I appreciate them, or, treat them. And I think it has a lot to do with my own mother. Our parents have these, I don't know, it's almost like they input these preconceived notions in their
Mm-hmm.
children, these expectations that they never felt within themselves. And a lot of that gets passed down to us, um, because they didn't know who they were, what they were.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and those things are passed down to us as soon as we're conceived. Um, Throughout our entire 9 months of living within, all of these things we're being hit with. And those are things that are causing trauma to the womb.
Mm-hmm.
So when we get here and we're learning, you know, these learned behaviors, and we don't understand where they come from. We don't understand why we're so everybody makes us nervous, or why we're so afraid, or why our
Mm-hmm.
self-esteem is so low.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know. You just get over it. Well, how do I get over it when I don't even know how it got here? I don't know how long it's been here.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel
And the
like,
longer they've been there, the harder they are to get rid of.
yeah, because you don't have anybody telling you, hey, that's not right. There's a different way to do that. There's a
Mm-hmm.
different way to handle that. Do it this way. And then you get the whole do as I say, not as I do. What?
Yeah, 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 yeah. Like I don't
So,
know the difference there. I
exactly.
asked you, I said, do you see the first lady as also similar to your mom? And you said I never even looked at it like that.
No, I didn't. I really didn't. Um, I have had some really, for those of you who don't know, that I was born and raised in the church, and not just any church. It was that old holiness, if you've ever heard of a holiness church, where everything was going to send you to heaven, and everything was going to send you to hell, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you do this, you'll go to heaven. If you don't do this, you're going to go to hell. You're going to burn forever. And so
Mm.
um, there was really, my life was scrutinized. There wasn't anything that I could do um, that was ever good enough. So, you know, if I got, for example, if I brought home a 92,
Mm-hmm.
you can make 100. You're not stupid. Well, I never thought I was stupid, but why? Do you think I'm stupid?
Right, exactly.
You know what I'm
Now I'm,
saying?
I'm questioning it now that you said this.
So a 92 is not good. It's an A. It's a low A. You can make 100. Damn. You know. Well, we picked, Maya to sing in the Christmas program. Well, don't crack. Well, hey, I'm taking my health serious and I'm losing some weight. Well, don't lose too much. I still want to be able to see you. Like, it was just always something. Nothing was ever good enough. It's like, damn, when am I going to be enough for you? When am I going to be enough for myself? Would I recognize enough if I saw it?
Mm. And that's a good question. Would you recognize good enough if you've seen it? Because see, a lot of us, we're good where we are, but it is the bad signals of the other people around us that are pushed upon us that we don't recognize. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like your mother's bad signal, she was pushing upon you, and that caused you to believe that you were not good enough when you was the best thing going.
Right.
You were the best thing going. But because of the insecurities of ourselves, our parents, those that are around us, those insecurities become bad signals for us because those are they bad signals. And so someone else just said, I've taken on the signals of my mom, and not all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely. You have to recognize that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Um, this conversation was going so good. It was going so deep. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because I understand the background and the history. And like I said the other day, sometimes you run, not to you, but I just say this. Sometimes you run so fast trying to run away from your parents that you
Mm-hmm.
run smack dab into them sometimes. You understand what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And
Yes.
a lot of people do this. And even the women, and I find this a lot, who are raising children, single mothers, they stay in their rooms. They stay in their rooms. And the children have the free range of the house. And then a lot of the times the mothers be like, well, this is my sanctuary, so I just stay in my room. But for a child, they not seeing that this is your sanctuary. For them, you don't want to be bothered. It must be something that they're doing. See, we
Right.
don't recollect like that. We don't put it together the way that the children are looking at it, which causes them bad signals because damn, maybe she just don't want to be around me. They don't understand that. They don't
Mm-hmm.
get that. Because then
Mm-hmm.
we don't even invite them into the room, you
Mm-mm.
know?
Mm-mm.
Like, girl, I had no choice. Toddy was always in my fucking bed. You understand me? But I still gave Toddy many, many bad signals. You understand? Because I was a 16-year-old mother thinking that I had it sewed up. I'm thinking that I understood completely of what I was doing. I thought I understood motherhood, but really, I didn't. And there was a bad signal that I gave to her that, like I said, you have to watch what you say to your babies because it could be the smallest shit you say to them that you may not even remember, but they'll remember that shit. And
Sure
it
will.
creates a bad signal. And I said, well, why? What's our problem? This was a few years ago. I said, what's our problem? What's your problem with me? Like, why you act like you hate me sometimes? And she says, when I was little, because she used to love to kiss me on my kiss. I love you, mama. I love you. And my stepmom had said, you ain't got to keep telling your mother you love her like that. She know. So I said, just don't tell me you love me so much, you know. And she remembered that, and it created a bad signal because she thought that I did not want her love. So therefore, it created enmity between us. So I don't even know if she even remembered that my stepmom said it first. You understand? Because that didn't matter. All she heard was me say to her, don't love me so much.
Hmm. Hmm. I totally resonate with that because, you know, my boys are 15 and 9, and they
Is
always
he
want to,
9?
yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Hmm. Yeah, he'll be 10 in February. But
Wow.
all they want to do is show me love. And
Yeah.
sometimes I don't really know how to take it. And I'm guilty of, I don't tell them like not to tell me that they don't love me. Like they can tell me that all day, every day. I'll hear them say it. But it's the hugging for me.
Hmm.
They're so loving. They really are just some really, really sweet boys. And they always
It
want to
can become
hug
a
me.
lot though.
Yeah. And I'll be like, I don't want. I be trying to like I'll go within myself because I really hate being hugged, especially by males. It's not their fault, but I hate being hugged. I don't like being touched
Hmm.
like that. And it's like
Hmm.
I can't actually tell them, you know,
But they can feel that.
yes. And so it makes me feel like I have been like, maybe it makes them feel like she doesn't love us. She doesn't want us around. Oh, why do I do that? You know what I'm saying? And it's not them. It's me. It has everything to do with me trying to heal from the trauma of my past.
But you know what else? I'm gonna say this to you too, Queen. It gives them a sense of my touch is gross,
Yes.
you
Yes.
know?
And that's why I had to sit down with them and finally talk to them about some things that have happened to me.
Yeah.
I
Because
never,
we're not honest with our kids.
no, no, no. I finally had to tell them, and I never want my kids to see me cry. But as soon as they see a tear, they swoop in and they just hold on to mommy, like,
Hmm.
and there's nothing like that feeling of knowing that somebody loves you back. Somebody that I
Hmm.
created in this world loves me back. Like they'll never not, you know,
Hmm.
receive anything from me, and my kids, they pour into me too. And that's something that I think Mother Dina, Yehuda, like everybody knew that I needed. Like they know that we all need. Is something genuine, something that we can actually hold on to. And I really desire for my relationship with my children to be different than the one that I had with my parents because, man, I didn't even think I was capable of having them.
Hmm. I found myself saying, like, Toddy be like, I love you. I'm like, I love you too, Toddy. And I found myself saying it just like that to the point where she'd just start laughing. I'm like, what? She'd be like, I love you too, Ty. I'm like, damn, I didn't mean it like that. I apologize. Come here, give me a hug. Love you. You know what I'm saying? I had to start correcting that because someone had said something, and I'm always been a very big person on studying of how to communicate with your children and how to be the best parent you can be. I've always been that, even when I was pregnant. I would talk to people about it if I saw them had good relationships with their children or with their parent. Like, what's the key here? And they would always tell me communication, right? And so I was watching this. I can't even remember what it was, but they said when your children see you, even when we say after school, excuse me, after school, no matter what your day has been, your face should light up when you see your children, even if it's like something you have to force yourself to do, because your children faces automatically light up when they see you because they're so happy to share their day,
Hmm.
and how their day has gone and they've missed you genuinely. And so when they see you and your face doesn't light up, it sends a different message to them,
Hmm.
and I had to look at that. You have to think about that. And so I always just, I don't know, I look at a lot of different things, even where I know I've gone wrong. And me and Toddy, we've done videos together about parenting and where, parenting can go wrong and where it could go right. But I feel like when we're looking at bad signals, we can even talk about bad signals that's just within self. Because what you saying is also bad signals because you don't like to be touched. And I'm the same way. I don't like to be touched because of the molestation and the rapes. You know what I'm saying? Like, So we have all formulated these bad signals and wanting to please people and doing things outside of ourselves that we wouldn't normally do just so we can get a hold on some of these emotions that we don't understand because we have so many bad signals and scarring.
Absolutely. And I didn't even know what they were until I started taking your classes and learning about the bad signals. And I was just like, oh my gosh,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know. We really
Yeah.
didn't know. Um, I remember being like, I was the only girl in a house full of boys growing up. And my mom would say things like, I prayed and I told God I didn't want any girls. I told him I never wanted any girls, but he blessed me with two anyway. Who do you think you are, the Queen Anne? Like, who is Queen Anne? Who is that? Like, what are we
Yeah.
talking about? You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, damn, I didn't even do anything. Like, I'm a girl. I was a girly girl. Um, and I might have been a little prissy, you know. I mean, but why are you saying this stuff to me? What did I do? You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And then I found out later why she didn't like girls. And so, you know, my biological father was a child predator. Like,
Mm-hmm.
but how come you didn't tell me that? You knew about what he was, what he did, but you didn't warn your
Mm-hmm.
children. You just
Mm-hmm.
let them go through it. And when
Mm-hmm.
we, you know, when I would reach out for help, you dismiss me like, so now that's a double whammy. Okay, so my mother hates me. But does she hate me because she had me, or did she hate me because her husband is looking at me the way that he used to look at her?
Mm-hmm.
So that made me like wear clothing, like several different pieces of clothing. So, you know, I didn't grow up wearing pants and shorts and stuff. I grew up in a house wearing skirts and dresses to the floor and shit. So at home, I'm doubling up on everything. I'm wearing 2 and 3 and 4 skirts at a time to cover my body because I don't want to be looked at the way that he looks at me. It makes me feel dirty, makes me feel ugly,
Mm-hmm.
makes me
Do you feel
want to
like that
cover up.
affected your weight?
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah. Absolutely did. Because
Mm-hmm.
I was getting the whole, oh, you're so pretty. And, you know, I was very tall, even as a little girl. So I was getting too much attention and I didn't like the attention associated with those compliments. So I would literally cover myself up from the neck down.
Mm-hmm. I so understood that. And the reason why I asked about that weight issue is because I found that that's where my weight came from because I was like molested and then I was raped. And it's like, well, damn, every time I meet somebody, that's all they want is sex. So I found myself being an eater and an overeater. And even if I'm just celebrating, we're celebrating with food. And, you know, food became my friend. It was my comfort, you
Yes.
know. And so I found that I put weight on and then I wasn't as attractive, I assumed, to people. And even though I still hear people would say, like, you're a beautiful woman, like I didn't feel beautiful. I wasn't sure if I wanted to be beautiful. All I know is I didn't want anybody to hurt me anymore.
Yes.
But as you can see, I'm still going through a whole bunch of shit because, you know, whatever. But I didn't want to be hurt in that way any longer, you know, in relationships being abused and beaten and, you know, not ever feeling protected anywhere, you know. And that's I don't know if that's just, and I have to say this, I understand now at 42 that's not something that women just go through. Boys go through it too,
Mm-hmm.
you know, not feeling
Mm-hmm.
protected and having grown women. Like, stop, please, men, stop showing pornography to your 11, 10, 12-year-old children, boys, thinking you're making them a man. It does not affect them in a way that you think. It fucks them up. This man walked up to my friend drunk crying and whispered to her. I talk about this all the time. And I said, what did he say to you? She said, he said, boys suffer molestation too. Like, you know, they hurt too. You know, grown women are fucking kids. You know, you have to look at this shit. that gives these boys bad signals. You're not making them a man. It fucks them up. This is craziness.
It absolutely will fuck you up. Food really was my best friend, Queen. I totally agree with you on that. I felt like the more I ate, the less attractive I would be to people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, um,
Mm-hmm.
I always wanted to, I became withdrawn and even more quiet. I thought that I could become invisible. If I'm so quiet that people forget I'm here, they can't hurt me.
Mm-hmm.
And those principles applied in church too. Um, I became obsessed with perfection because I felt like perfection kept me out of trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Girl. Mm.
maybe if
Can we
people,
talk about some of that?
sure.
Because like the stuff you just shared with me the other day, which is what we was really supposed to talk about, nothing outside of yourself. My mind was blown. But now just to hear you talk about your mom as well, like how I can see the correlation is craziness, and I mean that in a good way. When I say craziness, I don't mean it disrespectfully. You understand what I'm saying?
Sure. Hmm.
But yeah, like this, if we could talk about some of that, because I like I said, when I was watching the chat the other day, I noticed that somebody else put in the chat how they was taken advantage of by the first lady of the church, and that shit pisses me off because they always do this shit under the guise of Christianity and the church and the Jesus phenomenon, and it gives people fucking bad signals. Please believe me, religion will give your ass bad signals too. Go ahead, Maya.
Okay, I'm just trying to find my charger. Give me a second here.
You say, for me, I
Um,
felt so ugly. I'd over sexualized myself. I went through that as well. You can become very promiscuous. You know what I'm saying? I went through a lot, but I'm always
hmm
open about my shit too. You found your charging?
hmm
Okay.
um, this last church that I was a part of, um, when I got there, I called myself making a deal with God, and I was just like, if it doesn't work out here, I'm never joining another church again. So I was like, God, you gotta fix it to where it works out here. And
Mm,
so, um, nobody knew me. Well, one person that I grew up with was at this particular church, and she kind of introduced me because she was very close to the leaders of that church.
mm,
And so she was like, "Oh, this is Maya. We grew up in the same church. She can sing, she can write, she can do all this stuff." And so they were like, "Oh, we're so happy you're here." So when I became a member, they found out pretty quickly that there was a lot of stuff that I was good at. And so at that time, I had a really great job. I had just got a really great luxury apartment. It's something I've always wanted. Um, I had a decent car. Like, I felt like my life was on the brink of finally turning around. And so, my leaders were like, we really think that you have a lot of potential that could be utilized for God and for the ministry, blah, blah, blah. And we want you to, like, stick around and, just give us a shot and come and work for us. And so I was like, oh, what a great opportunity. So at that time, I really believed in the message that they were um, getting.
mm-hmm,
So I ended up resigning from my position. I had a um, really great corporate position. And I decided to, you know, become employed full time by my church. And so the church also doubled as a tax office. and they were trying to get a restaurant off the ground next door. So I was like, oh, they're really doing big things, for the community and for the members and all of this stuff. I always paid my tithes. I never missed a service. I always paid more than what my tithes were. Always willing to give for whatever function was happening, whatever donations. Like I've just always been a giver at heart. And so, I started working there, and I started out as a tax preparer for like the season, and from there, I was promoted to like the office manager. Um, I was running the church, the business needs, the day to day business. Then I became the armor bearer for both the pastor and his wife. Then I became her personal assistant. So like all of these promotions were happening, and I was grateful for them because I knew that I could do a lot of stuff, but I didn't know that there was a title that needed to be associated with it. I thought it was just me being good at stuff, but I was never getting paid for those jobs. I was spending so much time at the church, between the tax office, between their house. I barely saw my kids, barely saw my family, was hardly ever at home but to sleep. And then as soon as it was time to get up, I was out the door and gone all night, all day and all night again. Um, and I still was not getting paid for my services. So I was also a full-time student in school. So I had, my money from school that I was living on, and then I had, um, unemployment that I was getting from the jobs that I had outside of the church, and then it was also tax season, so I had some money, saved, because I was like, oh, it's a small church, they don't need to pay me, God is gonna bless me to do all these wonderful things, and He's gonna take care of me. And when the money ran out, because I had been paying, my bills too, and still giving an offering, and still, utilizing my services at the church, and still was not receiving any pay. So I remember this one particular time where I had run out of money, and I was like $600 short for my rent. And I went to my pastor and first lady and asked if I could borrow the $600. And I was like, oh, I'm good for it. Like I'm doing everything. Like they know my work ethic. Like they know that I'm worth this $600. And so I explained my situation to my pastor, and I was like, "Hey, listen, if I can't take care of my bills, then I'm gonna have to go find me a job outside of this. I don't mind doing this for you guys, but I really want to keep my place." Now, at that time, remember I said that I had a luxury apartment. I let my first lady talk me into downsizing the apartment that I had. I'd always been able to afford it, had always been able to pay my rent, but because she felt like I was spending too much money on that luxury apartment, she convinced me, I let her convince me, to move out of that nice apartment that I had prayed a long time for, to move into one that I didn't like. It was cheap, it was just a way for me to keep money in my pocket. But I let her convince me to move out of that and downsize. So this was two apartments in 1 year that I had moved out of and then moved into another one. And so in that second one was really when I started seeing like I can't afford it. So my pastor was like, yes, we're going to help you. We're going to get you that other part. When she found out that I had a conversation with the pastor, her answer was no, she just needs to get another apartment. And I was like, I moved out of that apartment because you said that it was going to be too much for me, but I'm doing all of this work for you and I'm not getting paid for my services. I don't want to move out of my house. And so I ended up getting evicted, and I had to get my stuff out, and all because they wouldn't give me $600. They also told me that I needed to down.
Although you're doing 4 and 5 different jobs for
Yes,
the church.
yes. And then they were like, well, we don't believe in having a car note, so you really need to let your car go and just get a cash car like the rest of us. And so I'm like, well, they're older than me. They know more about life than I do, and maybe I don't need a car note. Maybe I do just need a cash car. Some cash cars work for some people, For everybody else, we need a car note. You know what I'm saying? And so I was just like, well, maybe they're right. Let me just try it this way. I've never had a cash car before. Let me see what's going on. So I ended up giving my car back, and I ended up buying a little cash car. I was doing everything I could to keep my apartment. I had ended up taking a loan out on my cash car, just to pay bills. I was, trying to go to the casino, um, sometimes to try to flip the little money I had so that I could make my payments on my rent. I was doing this stuff while I was not getting paid for all of these jobs that I was doing. And so when it came down to like $0 and 0 cents,
Mm.
I had to go. And so I had a friend that lived like an hour away, and she was like, Maya, bring the kids, get Victoria, y'all come and stay with me until you get up on your feet. And she was an hour away from me. And so when I told my leaders that I was not, like, I was moving, um, they were like, oh, well, you can come. You can stay with us. We'll take care of you and the babies. But, V-Dub, we don't deal with sick people. So you're going to have to find somewhere for her to go. And I was
Like
like,
what? And what the
we
fuck?
live together. We're a family. We're a package deal. So if you don't want Victoria there, then you don't want us there. And that lady was so mad. She got that spiteful that she actually hired multiple people to do the jobs that I was doing and paid them.
Mm. That still blows me every time I hear you say that.
She paid them because, according to her, I can't go through what I went through with Maya and losing her. So they thought that I was like leaving. And I literally just left the city. I was still coming to church. I was still like driving, because I ended up getting a job that allowed me to get another car note. So
Mm-hmm.
that I didn't get congratulated for. I ended up taking a little rinky dink job just to kind of save some money for 6 months so that I could move back, into the city. And so, my friend was gracious enough to, house all of us and, let me do my thing to kind of re up my money and get back to the city. So, when I got back to the city, this was right around the time that the pandemic hit. And so, I got a new apartment and I was working from home, and she kept trying to clock my hours, like when my days were, I was going to be off so that I could be in the office. So I was like, well, um, I'm going to, give them another chance, um, because I thought that she was really, really wanting to help me, and she saw the error of her ways, and now she knows how to treat me. So I decided to give them another chance. And so, when my job ended due to the pandemic, um, they came to me about the PPP. And I also have a business, my own business on the side. And she came to me and she was like, hey, Maya, I want to help you get this $20,000 PPP loan. And I was like, well, what is a PPP loan? So she's running it down
Mm-hmm.
about it because I didn't know what it was. And I was like, oh, that sounds cool. Like, she was like, could you use 20K? And I was like, yes, I can use 20K. I can, work on my business, and I can take these courses that I need, and I can build my website, and I can get new merchandise. I'm thinking about all of these opportunities that I can do with this money. I can pay my bills up for like, X amount of months in time. And, oh, it sounds like a good idea, but what do I need to do? And so they were like, we just need, a copy of your employment ID number for your business and your DBA or whatever, and your banking info, and we'll take care of the rest. Now, I never got to see the paperwork. Um, I went on about my business, like, because I didn't think I was gonna get it, because I never got any emails associated with it. So I don't know what they were doing exactly, but I ended up finding out that I was approved for it, and I was like, oh my gosh, thank you, God. I'm so grateful. I'm still in church then, so it's a bunch of hallelujahs and thank you, Juicy J. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was just like, I ain't never seen this much money in my life. Because now, mind you, when I was working, y'all, I was only making at that time, at that particular job, I took the first job I had got when I lost my home. So it was like $12 an hour. and I was working like 180 hours over 2 weeks, every 2 weeks, just to make ends meet, like just to have more than living paycheck to paycheck. So I was running myself ragged. I'm trying to attend every church service. I'm still trying to run the office. I'm still trying to take care of my family. I'm still trying to pay my bills. I'm still trying to do all this shit, right? And so I was like, all of that can stop. Like I can get this money and I can flip it and I can do this and I can do that. So when the money was deposited in my account and they were
Here
on me,
come the whammy.
yes, they were on me about like it's there, it's there. So I was like, it's here. Okay, we need you to come up here and sign this paperwork. So I'm thinking I'm gonna go sign some paperwork for the loan that was approved in my name. When I got to the church, it was a contract that she had drawn up, and her contract she said that you have been awarded this $20,000. Um, you have a balance due that must be paid to the church in the amount of ten
To
thousand
the church, child.
in the
Mm.
amount of $10,000, and I was like, $10,000. Now I knew I was gonna have to give you something for helping me get it, but $10,000, that means I'll only have $10,000 left. And she was like, well, if you don't pay it to the church, because we are the ones who helped you and it was God who blessed you with it in the first place, I'm gonna report you to the SBA for fraud, and I'm just gonna let them deal with you, and you're gonna have to do some time for that. And I was like, now I ain't never been to prison. I don't know anything about jail. I ain't never been. I don't want to go. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh shit, you
Mm-hmm.
turn me in for something
Mm-hmm.
that I didn't even sign for. Like I'm like, oh shit, like I'm gonna go to jail. I didn't sign nothing. I haven't seen nothing. The only thing I do know is if this money came into my account, you would send me to jail. Well, it's just business, Maya. So you either take it or leave it. So at that time, I really needed the money, and I'm like, shit, let me just go ahead and pay them this $10,000. So I had to pay
Mm-hmm.
the church, the house. I had to pay the pastor. I had to pay the two people that actually did my PPP loan because she didn't do it, and she got more than everybody who was involved in me getting it in the first place. So after I paid it, she was like, now we can teach you how to do it so you can make money with other people. You can help other people get it. Now I wasn't gonna charge nobody no damn $10,000. But I feel like that's something that she did because I ended up contacting some months later after I ended up leaving the church. I contacted the SBA because they had access to my records and my information, and I didn't know what they put on my paperwork for me to get the $20,000. And so the SBA said, well, did the paperwork that you did sign, did it have our logo on it? And I was like, no, I don't think so. And they said, well, our bylaws state that if somebody is helping you to, you know, get the PPP loan, they can't charge you more than 2%. So they just ran an all out scam on you.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember feeling like, what? I got scammed? They were like, yeah. So, like, if you want to report them, you're really reporting yourself too. So, it really depends on what you want to do. I said, but I didn't sign anything. They were like, you didn't sign any of the paperwork for the PPP loan? I was like, no, I never saw it. I don't know what was put on it. Nothing came to my personal email address. So, I found out that they created an email address with my name in it so that they could keep tabs on the email.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's how a lot of people were getting done. People that were in church, people that were not in church. The same thing with the unemployment.
Mm-hmm.
They was doing a lot of, scamming type shit on a lot of people. And so I was like, well, I'm gonna figure it out because I don't want to owe this money. I owe it, but I didn't even get to spend it. You know what I'm saying? So it was just stuff like that. When I ended up getting the loan on my cash card, this was before I got the car note again. They ended up coming to my job and taking the car because I couldn't afford to pay the loan back that I had borrowed against it. So I was at work one day, and I'm like, y'all living in this house, y'all have multiple cars. At any point, I shouldn't have even had to buy a car. With as much work as I was doing for y'all, you really could have just let me drive one of yours on GP.
Mm-hmm.
And so they came and got the car, and she was like, don't worry, I'm gonna get you another car. So there was a lady that I worked with whose cousin was selling her old car, and she only wanted $600 for it. And
There's
so
the whammy again.
they only wanted, she was like, God has been good. He blessed me with this brand new car that I didn't know I was gonna get. I'm gonna sell my old one for 600. And so I went back and I told my first lady, I was like, well, hey, I found somebody who's gonna sell me their old car now. They wanted $600 for it. She was like, for real, do you like it? I was like, yeah, I heard all the pictures and everything. I really like it. I mean, it was like a 2002, but it was in good shape. Looking at it, it was in good shape. And I'm like, I need a car. I need to be able to get around. I can't afford. This was before the PPP, y'all. But I was like, I can't afford to, like get it and stuff. And so she was like, well, let me take care of it for you. Let me take care of it. So she ended up buying the car for 600 and then sold it to me for 2,300.
Whammy.
She was also
Whammy.
like I told you I was also a tax preparer. So the
Mm-hmm.
clientele that I had, some work, if you're familiar with taxes, some work costs more than others. If you have W-2s and stuff and you're just getting a basic return, that's one thing. If you're self-employed but you don't have a Schedule C, that's another thing. And then if you're self-employed with no Schedule C and you have children, that's another thing. So there are different costs depending on the situation needed to, get your taxes ready. Um, they were taking like 60% of my pay from doing people's taxes. So I
Mm.
really wasn't the money that I should have been making. I wasn't making. I
Now I
thought
want you to explain to them though why you was allowing this shit to happen, because people are really confused right now in this chat.
you got to understand that I was still programmed. These bat signals that my parents instilled in me allowed me to allow people to take advantage of me.
Because you said to me, you said I thought I was supposed to suffer.
Yes,
That God was
I thought that the life of the Christian was literally to be born, to suffer, to die, to go to heaven. That I was not
that part.
supposed to be at peace, that I was not supposed to be blessed. Some people's measure of blessings is different than other people's. And so
Mm-hmm.
for me, since my life had been so bad anyway, since I had gone through so much between the church, between being, molested, between, being abused, between being, talked down to my, from my mom, I thought that this was my life. I thought that this was what I was supposed to be going through. Um, so to see his face in peace, to see Juicy J's face in peace, I had to go through all of this shit to die just to make it to heaven. And so I was like, this was my life. This is the life of the Christian. Like, God said that I have to suffer in order to reign with him. And so I'm thinking, as long as I do what I'm supposed to do, as long as I'm doing what I'm asked to do, you know what I'm saying? I am going to make it to heaven. So
Mm-hmm.
that's just how deep it was. I may not be receiving all of my money, but at least I'm receiving some of it. Or maybe I wasn't supposed to receive the full balance. Maybe I was supposed to give some of that away to be a blessing to somebody else. Maybe that's the way that this thing goes. Maybe if I stop questioning God, you know, my life will be easier, because that's what they used to tell me. Your life would be so much easier if you would just do what we tell you to do.
Mm-hmm.
Your life will be so much easier. You won't have no problems. All you got to do is what we tell you to do.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the same thing with my parents. I tried to reach out to people for help when I was being abused. Oh no, your dad couldn't possibly be doing that. Your mama, she not like that, because we've seen them in church. They've been in church since before you was born. No, they got high positions in the church. No, we don't believe you. You got to be lying. Cause why would God be blessing them in the church like he doing?
Mm.
And
Now that's another thing, ain't it?
it made me loyal
Mm.
to the victimizer. That's where I defined in my mind what loyalty was. I associated loyalty with how bad I was doing or how bad I was being done by other people.
Yes, yes. Mm, mm, mm. They say that's a trick. Don't question God.
Sure,
Absolutely.
don't question God. You don't question God. That's a sin. Well, I need to know, why would I have the gift of being able to question if I can't get an answer for it? Like, you want me to just not say nothing and just do as I say, not as I do.
Hmm. And this shit creates bad signals because people really fucking believe that you are supposed to be in suffrage, that money is the root to all evil. You know, you ain't supposed to have money, you ain't supposed to want money. You know what I mean? You're supposed to be suffering to see the face of God. Like what? People believe that. And you did. And that's how she got over on you like this.
And then they would hit you with the, well, you going through all of this because you're being hard headed. You're being defiant.
Mm-hmm.
Look at all of this
Mm-hmm.
stuff that's happening to you, Maya. Have you ever gone through this before? Has this ever happened to you before? And now look, because you didn't listen to what we said, look at all of this stuff you're going through.
Like, no, bitch, because I never encountered you before.
I'm saying, like, you've allowed the devil to reign all up and through your life, just gaming you for everything. Damn, so
Mm.
I am a dummy. Dog, I'm not as smart as I thought I was. Well, shit, maybe common sense really ain't common. I'm smarter than this, though. How come I didn't know this? Couldn't wrap my head around that shit because it wasn't real.
Man, you was in an abusive relationship with the church,
Hmm.
and particularly this fucking woman. You were in a whole abusive fucking relationship. Honest to goodness.
Yeah, yeah. The same with my mom, with my parents.
Uh, we about to put you out of here, Moon Radiant, because what you talking about? I pray this didn't turn you away from the Father. What Father? What Father? Maya said to me, Queen, you know some of your people still go to church, right? And we don't oh no, honey. Let me go and get you out of here. Oh honey, no. Let's go on and just take her right out of here. We don't wanna even we don't wanna I'm sorry, I had to get her done. I'm sorry. You're out. Now, Nick T, I know you said Mia wanted to come up and talk about her bad signals or some of the stuff that she went through. Um, I am my own Lord, but okay. I think she was confused on what page she was in, what channel she was in. Child. Ugh. Maya, she said she hoped you didn't let that turn you away from the Father.
It did turn me away and made me run straight to Yehuda. So gratitude,
Gratitude.
gratitude to Yehuda, gratitude to you, Queen. Like, that programming is so real, y'all. Like, when I tell you, when I used to, the smallest thing I did, I was afraid to go to sleep at night because I thought it was going to send me to hell. I had so much PTSD from church.
Mm-hmm.
So much. It was so much associated with the church. I actually, when I finally made the decision to leave this church here, I actually locked myself in my house for 3 months. I did not come out. I actually had everything that I needed delivered to my house, and I let one of my relatives keep my car. I just told them to keep it for me until I was ready for it.
Mm. See what I'm saying? I dropped the link, Nick T. See what I'm saying? The shit is crazy. And that programming, she still don't see that that shit ain't real. The Father. Let me explain. Let me understand something. Oh God, I can't even. Don't even waste my time. Okay, because, oof, child, I can't. No, I'm not. I'm just gonna waste my time overnight. Greetings, Nick T and Mia. How are you?
We are well. We are glad to hear you are well right now, at least better than earlier.
The girl, yes, I'm over here sweating to pieces. Okay, trying to sweat this cold out. My
I
son
know that's
came in here and
right.
said it's hot as hell in here. I said I know. Now we talking about bad signals and how we try to please people to be accepted, and that's some of exactly what Maya was just talking about, like pleasing the church and pleasing the first lady, and to be accepted and to God, to the Lord, as that lady just said, the Father. Um, what is some of the bad signals that you feel like you have encountered, Mia?
Most men like self worth. I have what I would call a narcissistic mother, and now I have a narcissistic wife.
Mm.
Yeah.
But I love that honesty because some people can't be honest, and I seen Nick put that in there in a chat a little bit ago. So when
Yes.
you say you got a narcissistic mom, what's some of the stuff you encountered? Because see, some of us are your mother and don't even fucking know it, and we never want to admit it. But I'm truly one that will admit to my shit.
Um, I was always compared. It was like I was never enough, kind of, sorta, or like it was different when I was younger. Of course, it was like nothing but love, but I don't know when it changed. I would say like when I got into high school, like I guess when I became a mother, I'm sorry, when I became starting, I guess, my womanhood, she somehow felt threatened.
Mm, mm. No
And it,
control. She's
yeah,
losing
it was
control.
still control. She still wants to control my life.
Mm,
Still wants to control
gotcha.
my life. So the more I gave, I didn't really give a pushback. I mean, I was always pretty much a good kid, but she just felt the need to try to break me down. And it wasn't enough until she broke me down. Like we would have arguments and she would just say things to just destroy me or my character. And then she would go on about her day and be happy.
Like what? Give us an example of what you mean, because I understand. Ooh, child. I mean, that shit gets real.
I mean, it could be, you just like your daddy, and my daddy's like a kind-hearted person, but you done broke him down too. So it's like, what does that mean?
Right.
So
Yeah.
it'd be things like
Look,
that, or
I'm just like the man that you laid down with and procreated
yeah,
with.
for real,
You want me
or
to feel bad about that? Okay.
right, right. Or she would say things like, well, because I was a tomboy or whatever you want to call it. I wasn't really that pretty, the girly girl types. You would be real pretty if you put a dress on, if you put this
Mm-hmm.
on and do that. It's like, why can't you just love me for who I am and what I have
Mm-hmm.
to offer you?
Mm-hmm.
Well, she would
Wow.
always compare me to my cousin who was supposed to be like my sister cousin. So growing up, like I said, I never felt like enough because making grades, I would make the honor roll, but if she made the A honor roll, well, why can't you be like her? Why can't you do this? Why can't you do that? Which
Cause I
in
love
turn,
her.
created triggers. So now when me and my wife get into it, she could say things like, I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
like if I spell a word wrong, and she's like, baby, you spelled that wrong. Now that triggers me because now I'm mad because now I feel stupid. And I felt
Oh,
stupid with my mom. So I don't like that. So now we into
now,
it. So now I'm
yes.
dumb, so
Now, those are some bad signals that I know that I've created inside of my toddy. You understand me? And sometimes I didn't know I was doing that shit. Because I'm this parent. Like she used to talk to me and I'd be like, I can't hear nothing you saying because I can't stop looking at your lips. Please put some Vaseline on. I'm one of them. But that's just me. And so I didn't realize I was creating bad signals to the point where I can't just say, damn, you look nice. But what's going on with these heels? Like, why your heels ashy, or why did this? What? It's never just you look nice and end it there. And she told me, like, sometimes you don't know when to pull back on the criticism, and I never looked at it like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so we don't even know that we doing this shit.
Yeah.
you know Go ahead though.
It's
Mm,
painful,
yeah.
what else? What about it?
I'm alcoholic.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. My parents were alcoholics. I'm not gonna put my wife's business out there. I'm just gonna say that. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I understand that. I understand that. I feel like we don't realize that we create bad signals in people, even when it's our partners and our spouses. I really am afraid to get into another relationship, because getting to know someone and all of this other shit, it takes a toll on you, especially if you are not strong enough. And I just had this conversation with my babies. Like, that's why I always told them growing up, like, I don't believe children should be dating, because
Hmm.
the emotions that come with the shit, they can't handle it. And so, and my babies are 24 and 25 now. They like, we understand now. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have to look at certain shit that it creates bad signals. People will give you bad signals at 24, 25, 38, 31, 39. You know what I mean? They will
Hmm.
still give you fucking bad signals. I really believe that, because they cannot handle what comes with relationships. And then you see kids out here killing themselves because of this shit, because they already have the bad signals and things going on from their own parents. Now they dealing with a relationship that's completely taking them out the fucking way. And they have no idea how to handle it, because they don't even know how to handle this shit going on inside their own home. And they feel like that this person they have now encountered is going to be someone that protects them and it makes them feel good. And the first time that something goes wrong, they screaming and crying and hollering, because they don't understand, why is he, she, they not loving me the way I thought they did. Now he, she, they talking to somebody else. Like, their emotions don't know how to handle that shit. We can barely handle that shit,
I
you
don't know.
know?
That's true facts. I mean, because of that, because of like the bad signals that was created with my mom, and because I do have like a background in private school, Catholic school, if whatever you want to call it. Like at in my 20s, I wanted to just end it, like for real. I was over it because feeling ashamed, because I didn't went to Catholic school my whole life, and I've been in the church my whole life, and now I'm having an identity crisis because now I like girls. Oh my gosh, what do I do? What do I turn? And then you fall into a depression
Mm,
because at one point everything was going. My relationship was messed up. My home life was messed up. I was just over it,
mm-hmm.
ready to go.
Absolutely. We don't know, we don't fucking know how to handle it. We just don't.
We don't. And I was in my 20s. I was in my 20s and ready to go. Like, I was over it. I remember the exact morning, like for real. I was laying in my bed and I was over it. Till there was a cloud, honestly, that came and saved my life that day. And I'm not joking. It
What you
came down
mean?
in my bedroom and it pulled me up. And I don't to this day know who it was. All I know is that they did. Because they were pulling and I was giving them pushback. I was like, nope, leave me alone. I ain't got time for that today.
Mm. So what do you mean though?
There was literally a cloud. Sounds crazy as heck, but there was a cloud. It came down in my bedroom and it was making pulling motions, like they were pulling on something. And I remember looking at it, and because I was in that other spirit, I'm like, what do you want? Like, now you want to help me? I ain't for you today. I ain't for your shit today. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm. Like you
And
didn't
they
get
just
mad
kept
at the
on.
spirit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But they just kept pulling. And it wasn't until I got distracted that it actually worked. Like they pulled me up that day. Like I got up, I was woozy, and instantly whoever it was, I know it wasn't like I didn't get up by myself, if that makes sense.
absolutely. Some I see a couple people just fresh coming in asking what are bat signals. It is bat signals like bat signals like what would be dispersed into the sky on Batman, where people would see all your shit, and people, believe it or not, people see your bat signals. I don't care how hard you try to hide it. The first lady of that church saw Maya's bat signals, and she knew how to play on it. Maya said she told her one time, see, God has already told me, oh, what she say, Maya, how good you are, but you don't know. I'm just going to see if you're going to fall in line with what God said.
That's what she said. He's already shown me you. He's already shown me your potential and everything that you're capable of. I'm just gonna see how you gonna handle it.
Mm.
How can I handle it if I don't know what it is? You
Right.
you should be teaching me, and you over here like praying on me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yes.
sucks.
And I feel like, okay, so let me give an example of bad signals, child. I'm gonna give you two different ones, and one gonna come with a story, okay? Just very briefly. So I have a bad signal that I've learned to overcome, and at 42, I'm still working on it. Playfully, when I was growing up, my sister used to tell me I had baloney lips, that I smiled like I had white people lips, and that I had a funny looking smile. And so that became a bad signal for me, where I would like want to cover my smile up. I wouldn't want to smile in front of people because my lips were too thin. I had white people lips. I had baloney lips. That's all I remember hearing all the time, And so that became a bad signal for me, to where I thought, well, surely I must be ugly then, because you know I have these thin, ugly white people lips. You know what I'm saying? Now, also, a bad signal would be, say there's a little girl that's in school, and maybe she went to school with you or one of your children, just for example, and she came up in a household where her hair was never combed, and then she gets to school and everybody is laughing at her, but they don't understand that she already has bad signals. And then they're creating more bad signals in this young woman. You understand me? Now, these bad signals that she has accumulated could take her in different directions as she is growing up, because that bat signal could be the very thing that shines up in the sky that Tyrone will see. Tyrone is a dope boy of the street. He see her beauty, he see her potential, even though her hair ain't never fucking combed, even though she don't know hygiene the way she should, but he see what he can do with her. So now he done approached her because he see this bad signal, child, in the sky, that this young woman is shining so brightly she don't even know. And now he done approached her, and he got money. Now he's starting to get her hair done for her. Now they in a relationship, and now he's mistreating her, but she don't know nothing else, because he done seen her bad signal. He done took her out of a bad situation, but put her in another bad situation. Whether he's abusive to her or he's just not what she's supposed to be dealing in. And sometimes that bad signal, Tyrone could be a good motherfucker, like he took her out of that situation, period. But it's bad signals. He recognized that he's seen it, and it could go either fucking way, because you don't know who is seeing that bad signal shining up in the sky ever so brightly. Now, Mia said that she has encountered her wife that is just like her mother via your bad signals, right? So now y'all are 10 years in strong, and y'all are working on it. What has made you stay there?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
What made you stay there with Nick?
What made me stay?
Yeah, even though you recognize tendencies of your mother because you chose her. You chose your mama. And we do that often.
Yeah. We work on it. We have open communication. And to be honest, I literally, about 2 years ago, just found this out, doing self work. Like, I had a breakdown. I had a breakdown because it got too much, and I want children. So I'm like, I don't want to take this into, oddly enough, this is even before I think we even started watching you. And I was like, I don't want to take this into my child. I don't want to be that mom. I was like, I have to get a handle on this and handle this. So like I wrote a letter, and then writing a letter and then reflecting on what has happened, I was like, oh, I noticed these traits in my mom. I noticed them in my wife. And I sat on the couch. Excuse my French. I was like, oh shit, like what do I do? Like, like I noticed this now where do I go? Like, because I'm married, I can't just be like, well, all right, bye. I'm healing, so I don't have
Do
time for
you
you.
recognize it though, Mia? Like, do you recognize it, Mia, in a sense of maybe you picked her to finally get the retribution or the the love or the support that you felt like you were missing in your mom because you chose her for a reason.
I get it. And actually, I was sitting here thinking about that, and I think that could be true because she forces me to accept the love that I deserve.
Mm, yes, understood.
And she don't feel like she deserve anything. Like for her soul day, what you did, like I told you, that meant everything to her. She couldn't even put it into words, and I showed gratitude to you because I was like, that's what she needs. She needs love from other people other than me, to let her know that you worthy and you deserve everything, especially for the many of times you've been there for others and the many of things you've done for others and still doing. Just a kind hearted, you can see her heart outside of her body. That's how sweet she is.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, she deserves everything.
And that's so crazy because I really just do it because I'm not only moved to do it, I love to do it for people. You know what I'm saying? And it makes me feel good. That's my love, one of my love languages. You
Uh-huh.
understand me? I would get up, let me tell you something. If the spirit moved me and I'll do it. Like, and even just with my family, like I would call my cousins, it'd be like 6 in the morning. I would send them a text like, I don't know why, but the spirit told me to text you. Like, I just want you to know I love you genuinely. If did nobody else see you, I see you. And they'll be like, you don't even know how much I've been going through. Like, I needed to hear that. It's just those little things that sometimes if you follow the spirit, because we don't follow the spirit in those very actions because we're always so angry about the way the shit are not going in our lives. But I'm telling you to take that little leap, that little step, to just say it, to do it, to become something greater in somebody else's life. I told my daughter, I say, because we used to be downtown a lot, downtown Cincinnati, and I say, it's okay to ask people their name, to not just step over these homeless people. It's okay to ask them their name. You know how invisible they feel sometimes?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody even asks them their name. Just ask somebody their fucking name means the world to them sometimes.
Yeah.
People are so invisible. And again, I blame a lot of shit now on this social media because people are doing a lot of fucked up shit just to get a like and to
Absolutely.
gain notoriety. Go ahead, Maya. Yes.
No, I was just agreeing with you. I feel like social media has desensitized so many. Like you're reducing who you are to a like. Like you don't feel
Yes.
accepted unless you have so many likes on a post, a picture.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. If I see another overweight female with her knees ashy, hair not combed, with her pants pulled up to her titties, dancing just to make somebody laugh because she feels insecure about herself so she can get a like and go viral. You do not have to humiliate yourself
Facts.
for somebody else to find worse inside of you. You understand what I'm saying? The shit blows the fuck out of me, bro.
Facts. And it's so out of hand that the kids is just feel like they have to do it to be cool, be liked, to be recognized or noticed because the parents are absent. Even though they are in the house, they're absent.
Yes.
That is the
And
worst. It breaks our heart daily.
absent, even though they are in the house. And I don't think our people understand that shit. I work every day and take care of my kids, and I make sure my house is clean. Yes, and you're unpleasant to them, and you're short with them, and you're not asking them about their day. And when you do ask them about their day, you hear what the fuck you want to hear. And so they don't even tell you the truth anymore because, no, like, you hear one small thing. Well, why would you say that? Why would you didn't, like, you heard nothing else. Let them fucking speak. Don't trigger them in that way to where they feel like now they're gonna lie to you. Now they lying to you about a lot of shit. Because they feel like you can't handle the shit. They fine. But they feel like now you can't handle it because of how you keep going off no matter what they tell you. Well, if that's how you want to live, you can go stay with your fucking grandma. You didn't even let me finish my story. What is it? Because now you lie. You about to lie. Like, whoa. Because you just like your fucking daddy. Whoa. You mean, again, the man that you laid down with, that you upset, that your relationship didn't work out, it don't have nothing to do with these fucking children? Because now you have a bad signal. And you feel like you 38, 42, you feel like you good. My life just ain't going. That's not their fucking problem. Now your bad signals is colliding and causing them bad signals. You understand me? The shit is fucked up.
It's like domino effect. It's really a domino effect in the family. Once
Absolutely.
one person has a bad signal and it just falls into place, everybody just falls, and then you got the generational curses that need to be broken.
Right. It's okay to teach your children, but it's okay to also listen with one, discernment, listen with two, critical thinking, where you don't have to come in and criticize right away. Well, how did you handle that? Really? Well, that was good, but maybe, maybe think about this part. It's certain ways you can say shit that's not triggering or traumatizing to people. Even when you dealing with your fucking siblings, even when you're dealing with your spouses, we act on triggers. We love to trigger people because of the trauma that we suffer inside. Hurt people hurt people.
Facts.
Yes.
I heard so many people say that fuck shit.
Yes.
I just want them to hurt like I hurt.
Huh? And what good is that?
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. It's okay to not be okay, but it's okay to listen. And that's another thing. Yes, Yehuda, that's another thing. You're absolutely correct, because we just talked about this. People don't even apologize to their children no more because they the parent,
No.
because I'm the mama and I said so.
Oh my God. They don't.
Oh my goodness, that's crazy. I just
Why
discovered.
you can't?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I'm just saying, why you can't apologize to your fucking children?
Exactly. Well, probably not just discovered, but it's becoming more real and real to me that, okay, my wife say I'm a narcissist, and she says my mother is, and my nephew. So she said that whole house that was just self. So I realized the other day that I was just trying to have a conversation with her, and she totally shut down and acted like a child, and she's 62. everything I said, well, you do this to me too, or well, this how you make me feel. Well, I'm like, damn, everything that I say you're doing to me, you claim I'm doing it to you. So, okay, ma, tell me what I'm doing. When did I say that? When did I make you feel that way? She couldn't even give me a time.
Mm-hmm. Wasn't expecting that either.
Because she don't
Mm.
expect me to speak up for myself. I'm starting to speak up to my mom because I'm just tired. I feel like I'm her mother and I'm bearing the weight of our family.
But that's because we are afraid to walk away from shit that doesn't mean us any good, even when it is our parents, because they are parents. Let me tell you something. I don't give a fuck who it is. Nobody don't have a right to show up in your life and cause dismay. They don't have that right to show up to you any way they want to.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have that right. She can, but you also have the right to walk away from it until you get yourself together. I no longer have to allow you to come in my life and trigger me. I don't have to allow you to do that. I'm your mama. You sure the fuck is, and you should know that you my mama. You should act like it. You know you my mama, just like I know you my mama.
Yeah.
So either you gonna be a mother or you gonna be a person that acts like a nasty woman to me on the street. You can't have it both ways. Nobody has the right to come in your life and mistreat you. I don't give a fuck who it is, whether that's your children, your parents, your spouse. No one has that right to mistreat you in your life. They do not.
I get
I
it.
want y'all to carry that. Carry that shit with you. That nobody has the right to do that. And it's horrible that people actually believe, especially the parents, people actually believe they have the right to show. I say what I want to say. I'm your motherfucking mama. That's right. And guess what? I'm an adult who can make my own decisions. So if that's how you choose to show up to me, guess what I choose to do? If you can't accept my partner, you can't accept me, you don't like the life that I'm living, I have the right to say, don't call my phone. I don't have to answer my phone. I don't have to be disrespectful to you as my mother, but I ain't got to deal with you at all.
In the inside, I be wanting to say that so bad, Queen. Like I really do. Like I really do. I can't get it out.
Why not?
I don't want to hurt her feelings, even
Doesn't
though
matter.
she
She
hurt
hurt
me
yours.
all the time.
That's
Exactly.
right. She's your mama.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to mother her fucking feelings. She needs to swallow that pill.
Mm. I had to tell my mom that though. Like when I first moved out of her house, like she would call me and she would never have anything good to say. Like just if it's warm outside, she'd be like, "How's the weather?" "Oh, it's warm, ma. It's real nice." Well, it ain't. It could be warm, like just something negative. So I got mad and I told her one day. I said, "If you don't have anything good to say, please don't call me."
That's
And she didn't call
hard.
me for like a couple weeks to about a month. Like there
Because
was
she thought she
nothing
was
to
hurting
say.
your feelings. Nope. Made my life better and brighter.
It did.
Because I didn't have to deal. Let me tell y'all something. And let me just take a poll on this. If you have anybody in your life, whether that is your parents, friends, or family, because see, I hate to go around my family because they give me anxiety. I have to prepare myself mentally to go to family
Absolutely.
functions.
Yes, Queen. Oh my God.
Put a fucking one up in the chat if you understand what I'm saying. Because that means you are keep surrounding yourself with people that feel like they have the right to show up to you any way you fucking want. They want to and they don't. Nick put a one up. Period.
Queen, I ask you something?
Yes. Yes.
Why is it that when you finally come into self and you decide, you know what, I'm not taking this shit anymore, you put your foot down and you say no, they lose their shit?
Cause they think they have the right to control you. Because even when we talk about parents, it's just other people. You know what I'm saying? They feel like they have that right. They do not. Society have misguided people. Like, who are you? I can say what I want to say. You can. Well, this is an open forum. I can say on your platform what the fuck I want to say. It's public. No, take your nasty negative ass on somewhere because you feel like that lady, Kathy Perry, whatever the fuck her name is. She left in my comment on my thing. She say your soul is damned, and yeah, I said it. So when people come to me like that, what I said to you was what I told her. I said, "Fuck you, bitch." Yeah, I said it. Now they looking like, well, you supposed to be. No, you supposed to mind your fucking business. Why is what I'm doing in my life affecting you? People show up to people any kind of way because they love to be nasty to people. That's narcissistic shit. I'm just keeping it real. No, you being a bitch, and you know you being a bitch. But if I call you a bitch, now you mad that I didn't said that shit. But you knew how you was showing up to people. People love me because I keep it real. No, people feel like you're a fucking clown and you entertain them. You know what I mean? It is a fucking difference.
People love
It
to
is a
hate.
difference.
And that's the worst thing. They love to hate. Whether it's your family, your friend, they just love to hate. Why?
Well, what did that fortune teller say? Is you talking to her about me? Why? Why? How did you show up to me? Like, we don't never want to be accountable for how we have treated people. Parents a lot of times don't want to be accountable for the bad signals and the scarring they have caused on their children. I was the best parent. I knew how to be. That doesn't mean that your best was good enough.
Absolutely.
That don't mean that shit. Take accountability for where you dropped the ball at as a fucking parent because your best was not good enough. And I'm sorry. Maybe that's what the fuck you learned. But that's not their problem. You understand what I'm saying? Because you can't figure out why man won't come out the motherfucking streets. He done been in jail 3 and 4 times. You're the fucking problem. You're man's problem. Now, I made sure that he ate and had a roof over his. That's not good enough. Get the fuck out of my face with that.
You know,
I stayed in the mall buying him something. That's his problem. Let me say this one thing. I'm going to let you say something. I used to tell my daughter, her friend, I ain't going to call her little friend's name. Her mother used to buy her everything. Everything. She was spoiled. She had the newest everything. And Toddy would be so, not jealous, but she would be like, I wish I had that. I wish we. And I'm like, listen to me. When she becomes an adult, her mother is not going to keep up this act. And this child who has become accustomed to this lifestyle is going to have to find a way to keep up with this lifestyle that her mother has now fucking duped her in. And what happened? She became a stripper. She started finding men to take care of her. Last time I seen her, she was pregnant and not doing well for herself. My daughter's doing so well that I tried to help her with her business. She let me, but she keeps saying, I want to let me do some stuff on my own, Mom. Let me get this job. Go get that job. My daughter started working on her own at 16. She understood responsibilities. It's a fucking difference. You understand me? It's a difference. My other baby, now she love money. She love material shit. My other baby does. She does. I ain't gonna lie. But you know what I mean? That's just what it is. So you duping your children by even putting this shit in their head. Go ahead, Maya.
I was just gonna say I had to sit down with my sons and apologize to them. And I apologized to them for not being fully present. Because before I decided to do shadow work, I did avoid conversations with them. I did, kind of shy away from their interactions because I didn't know how to respond to what they were giving me. You know what I'm saying? My kids have never really just been into like money, 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 money. They just wanted my time.
Yes.
They right now they're camped out in my room, and we're all in there just watching TV. Like they didn't get, a million presents and all of that shit. You know what I'm saying? All they really care about is spending time with me. And that means more to me than anything. I had to, sit them down and just explain why mama is the way that she is. But mama is getting better every day. Mama is doing the work that she needs to be present for you. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
when I did that, it opened the lines of communication for us. My kids started confiding in me about shit I didn't even know they were dealing with. Even things that they knew about me that were being said in front of them by my family, which was a completely different bad signal altogether. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
I see these numbers are dropping too. Motherfuckers can't stand in their truth. That's what I'm talking about. But if we was on here talking that bullshit and
hmm,
talking about XYZ, it'll be up here almost in the 2000s. You
right,
understand me? People don't want to stand in their shit.
right.
Well, here, Maya. I love that you do that with your babies, that you have to do that. Because it's about taking accountability. So then when they do get older, they'll come to you and they'll talk to you. Because you show them how to do that. Period.
I never would have known to do that, Queen, if it hadn't been for you. So I don't give a fuck what a motherfucker got to say about you. You came too late to tell me anything about this woman. I don't give a damn who's listening. I don't give a fuck
Period.
who's watching, because she is helping me. She's helping us. And if you be honest with yourself, why you fangirling over there in the shadows, she's helping you too, bitch.
Period. Period. But I love that we can grow and we can have these conversations and we can work through it and we can talk and we can see it, because that helps not only you, that helps your children, it helps your family, even the people who may not understand. And some stuff was said like, "Oh, Queen, that made these people stop talking to their family." No, it's about you taking accountability of, if my family cannot understand how I believe, because I ain't gotta believe like everybody else believes. If my family can't understand how I believe, like there was a young woman that came to me and she is pregnant and she needed somewhere to go, and her aunt and uncle told her, who got a beautiful big ass house, said, "You can come here, but you got to go and get fully vaccinated." What? Why? You're fully vaccinated? What the fuck? Well, we only allow that in our home now. That's pushing the agenda. And she's pregnant. Well, people just died because they wouldn't get vaccinated and they pregnant. Well, there's many of them that died who did. So what are we talking about? It's the mind fuckery. What does that have to do with she needs somewhere to go? She needs someone to help her. What does that have to do with anything? You are fucking fully vaccinated. What does her independence of decision making have to do with you? It makes no sense. It makes no sense.
Before I stopped talking to this particular brother, Queen, he said, to all of us siblings, he was like, let me ask y'all a question. How come when the white man tell us to do stuff, everybody got questions, everybody want to rebel, everybody want to say what they not gonna do, but when a black person tells them what to do, or suggests to them that they need to be doing something, they do it? And I was like, what?
Mm-hmm.
What are you talking about? He was like, I'm talking about the vaccine. The white people don't question they people. We the only ones that's got to ask questions and cause problems. I just remember looking at him and was like, you stay your ass away from me, because as soon as they start issuing out money, you're going to be the first motherfucker that start turning.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I couldn't believe it came out of his mouth. It's that far gone. Like,
For your independent decisions.
yes.
Like, what are you talking about? You know, my niece is a believer in it. She didn't got hers. She didn't got jabbed all of them. And she's like, well, you don't have to get it, but people ain't got to let you in their business either. But that's my independent decision. It should not affect their business, but they don't understand their business is going to go out of fucking business. Because how many of your patrons do you even really know that maybe don't support it? Why are you making this decision? They've had to take some of the mandates away in the medical facilities because they had nobody to fucking work them. So they had to take the mandates off. We have to start to look at shit. Stand up for something or fall for fucking anything. But when you have been desensitized and when you have been programmed and when you have all these bad signals and you just want, I just want to be okay. I just want my. Every year you go broke for Christmas and you know fucking well, first of all, man won't even take out the trash. He ain't listening. You done gave him bad signals and now he don't give a fuck, but you make sure you go broke because you've been programmed to do so. Oh, but they don't want to hear that shit. They don't want to hear me say that. I'm going to be quiet because they don't want to hear that. Okay, I'm going to be quiet. I'm going to be quiet. They don't want to hear that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Anyway. We talking about that part, Real Topics TV. Anyway, I just I felt like this conversation was needed to be said. I'm a breathe, Stardust. It needed to be said because it's a must because people didn't know what bad signals were. I've coined that term. It's something that I say. It's my terminology to understand your scarring. Go ahead, Nick T.
Oh, I was just gonna say it was much needed because I was just sitting here on my phone playing my game and I was like, bad signals. Oh, we love bad signals. We about to hop on quick because
Absolutely.
it's been helping us. Like we took the first two classes and I know the second class was a group of people who hadn't taken the first. So like you said, still a lot of people didn't know what bad signals was. So we wasn't able to get deep into the part two of it because we had to go back to the part one.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
But
I
when you
want
sit
people
down, oh,
to,
I'm sorry.
no, I just want people to take this knowledge and sit down with it.
Yeah, because it helps throughout life.
Yeah. Look at your bad signals first, then
Mm-hmm.
go to your children and sit them down. I learned a very knowledgeable and valuable thing from Lisa Nichols, who said she used to sit her son down and she used to ask him between 1 and 10 as a parent, how am I doing? And whatever that number was, she said she would have to swallow that. So if it's a low number, okay, how do we get it back up? And what's going on? And sometimes, kids, what may be valuable to children are not valuable to you, but doesn't mean that their truth don't matter. How they see you is their experience of you. If you don't like what they saying, then you got to change how you show up to your children. Now you lying on that because I ain't never. No, they're not, because that's their experience of you. It's the way that they have viewed you through their child eyes. On that movie, Tales from the Hood, the little boy Walter would draw the stepfather as a monster because that's who he saw. He had a tattoo on his arm that say monster. He was very abusive. He would see him as a monster because that's how he fucking viewed him. He said, oh, you want to draw people as monsters? Yeah, that's the way he sees you. That's the way his mind registers you. So it's about how you show up to them. And it's what they know and what they remember and what they experience inside of you. And the most hurtful thing for a child a lot of times is something that caused deep scarring in them you don't even remember. Maybe you was drunk that night and you said some shit like, yeah, so your cousin, so yeah, so he then molested you, huh? You fast as hell. You probably wanted it.
So
10
disgusting.
years from 10 years from now, you don't even remember you said that shit, Maya J. You understand me?
Mm-hmm.
But that's the best signal they didn't carry when you probably was saying that shit to be just fucking nasty and be mean. But you didn't say that shit and now they carry it. You know? For real. You got to be accountable for how you show up to people and to your children. Y'all want to say anything?
Um,
People do. People do. Go ahead, Queen.
I just wanted to say that this particular generation, right up and through here, is really just tired of the norm or what was considered the norm. We're a lot more vocal than the generations before us have ever been. And I honestly feel like there's something envious in that for them because we don't have a manual on what to do and how to react. We're just doing whatever we got to do to heal our own selves. And we're
Mm-hmm.
not letting anybody or anything stop us from what we know that we deserve. And there was nothing, I feel like there was one in every generation. It's just that there were people who weren't listening or didn't do the work. I mean, everybody is not doing the work, but I feel like there is definitely some envious energy in that. A lot of things they couldn't give you answers on because they hadn't dealt with the shit that they had gone through. You know, that generation was very much swept under the rug. What goes on in here stays in here, you know. So I really applaud everybody and I give gratitude to everyone who is willing to do the work, talking about it, communicating with each other about it, having
Mm-hmm.
these kinds of tough conversations because they're very necessary. And even if one person, you know, takes this conversation and actively makes a change, then there was a shift that happened. So I really give you gratitude for allowing this
Correct.
conversation on your platform, Queen.
Absolutely. Somebody asked me how I'm feeling. I'm feeling okay, but my body's starting to hurt again. But I'm gonna take some medicine in just a second. But I want to say this because I saw Tiffany Martinez comment, and she said she tries not to get mad with her mom because she's the only living parent she has. Me and my daughters had to talk about this. However you feel, you have the right to feel that way, Tiffany. Because a lot of times when people do that, and then you do get mad with the parent, right? Then you start self abusing um, mentally to yourself. And I say that because then you go into, you're all she has. Like, why can't you just let it go? You're so stupid. Then you become that person on the inside. You have the right to feel how you feel. We have to stop being our parents. If your mother is doing something she knows that triggers you, she knows that that's what the fuck she is doing. She's an adult. You don't have to stop yourself from being mad because you have that right to feel that way, Tiffany. You have the right to feel that way. You have the right to pull yourself back. It's okay to understand her and it's okay to know what she's going through. It's okay to have that conversation with her. She can either hear the conversation. Don't allow her to be manipulative inside of that conversation. Because as people, we do that. We do the what about what you did to me? We do that. Yeah. And I'm guilty of a lot of different shit. Yeah. Saying shit out my mouth that I know the fuck I shouldn't have said. I'm guilty. And that's how I know what I'm talking about. Nobody has that right. You have a right to be upset when you feel like you need to be upset, Tiffany. So don't ever stop yourself and feel guilty because you feel like you shouldn't have been upset, when that's your mom. No, fuck that. She knows she's your mom as well, So um, I'm glad we had this conversation. Again, Yehuda been trying to get me on this live all day long to talk about bad signals. And next time I come on, we'll talk about there's nothing outside of yourself. Because I know a lot of you are just discovering me and you have never taken a class from me, so you don't even know about the deities and how the deities align with the physical body. And that there's nothing outside of yourself. People still think I'm looking at Yehuda like Yehuda's outside of me. I do not. And we need to start to look at it and understand it, that there's nothing outside of yourself. Everything that you see outside of yourself is an illusion. It is part of the matrix. Okay? I love y'all from a very genuine place. I must take some more medicine now. My body is starting to hurt again.
Gratitude, Queen. We love you.
Yes,
Gratitude to
definitely.
Nick T and Mia as well as Maya J. Ain't that funny that you and Mia had the same birthday too?
Yeah, that's real funny.
You know. I appreciate for everybody in the chat that came through and shared their stories. And I know other people may have wanted to come up, but I didn't want it to get overwhelming with people on the panel because sometimes people just want to make a comment or say certain things. Um, and then my bad signal is I don't know how to tell you to get the fuck off the panel when you're done talking. And I just wanted these two queens or three queens up here to share. So it'll be, kind of controlled. Um, but I love when you all share with me. And I applaud you for sharing because I was looking in the chat, you know, um, temper stupid. But I appreciate it. Anybody want to add anything before we get up out of here?
I will, Quinn.
Uh,
I would just tell everybody to just be mindful that I think part of our problem is a lot of the times we look at our kids and as kids, and even though they are kids, they still little people.
they little
But we don't
people.
really. I'm sorry,
No, they are. They little people.
little people, right? But we don't really view them as that because we've been conditioned. They kids, forget them kids. The kids don't matter, but
Mm-hmm.
they do. And to just definitely keep that in mind and to not take your child's voice away and keep those open lines of communication.
Mm-hmm. I love that you said that. Gratitude. Maya J, you got anything you want to add? B Dub, got anything that you want to add?
Let me find out because I was watching the comments and she made mention about her mother.
I saw that.
Something about a lot of them self medicate when they don't want to deal with themselves. So I
Yep.
think she wanted to touch on that. 1 second.
I just want to touch on that part. It just comes, I feel like that comes from just being unhappy with self
Mm.
because you always have to be out of your body per se to be able to tolerate yourself maybe
Mm-hmm.
or
Mm.
or just being around others. So that's kind of
That's
real
it.
detrimental.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's it. What up,
uh
B?
hey. Greetings to the chat. Greetings, Nick T and Mia. Um, when you was bringing up triggers, um, my I'm just gonna say it before y'all get off. Whatever. My mama has always hated my auntie, my dad's sister. Um, ever since I've been, knowing about it, but she always blamed my auntie for her and my daddy breaking up, and which it wasn't my auntie's fault. My auntie was a little messy, whatever. Um, my auntie was the auntie that all the kids went to her house on the weekend. She was just that auntie. She loved everybody. Growing up, my mama, she always said, fat cow, stupid cow, dumb cow. This is stuff that she called me. My brother even said that she called me bees too. Fat bee, you're gonna be fat like your animal when you get out of high school, you know. And she just always said that. Even when I got older and I went and go stay with my auntie or whatever. Well, my auntie died last year on Christmas Eve. Yesterday last year. Um, and my mom had called me probably like last month. Um, and she said something. Well, she brought up something that happened uh years ago, back in 2003. She put me out the house. Her and my brother got into it, and my auntie was on her way to come get him. So I was like, well, I'll get some clothes and I'll go wash. And so I'm in there trying to get my clothes together. She's like, you give me your key, you can get out too. I'm like, well, I'm just going to wash my clothes. Whatever. So she brought up that
Mm-hmm.
situation. She said, you left me. I said, I didn't leave you. You put me out. But you wouldn't remember that because mom was taking a bunch of pills then. She's like, I don't remember that. Well, I remember it very clear. You put me out and I just never come back.
Mm-hmm.
Upset about. I didn't come back because it was so much chaos with her. It was so much, and it was a lot with my auntie because my auntie was a businesswoman and she had her own daycare. She had 24-hour daycare. Oh my god. Uh,
Mm.
and so it was a lot better than being with my mama. So when she brought that up last month, probably a month before, I said I didn't leave you, and then she said something. She said my dumb ass auntie.
Wow.
I said it if I was not upset from what she was saying before saying that, that was a trigger.
Yeah. And
Because
she knew it would be.
woo,
That was antagonistic.
yes, even saying that now, ooh, that was a trick. I said, don't say nothing about my auntie. You know I'm still grieving her death. She's like, yeah, you don't like that, do you? I said, okay.
Yeah, that was very antagonistic to get under your skin. But
Yeah,
see, that's what I'm saying.
yeah,
Such bullshit.
yeah. My mama bald head. Even though she was bald head, my brother told me that. He just happened to walk in her room and she was taking off her wig. He was like, Mama, you ain't tell my mama the same. This is my mama work at a pharmacy. I said, stop shaking the bed. Her this is her routine. She get up, she go to work at 8 o'clock in the morning. She come home by 6:30. She turn on her cartoons. She eat a peanut butter sandwich or a TV dinner. Look at her cartoons. Take her medicine, circle, whatever else she got to take with it. Go to bed. Same thing next day. Every day.
Mm-mm.
Every day. And I'm feeling bad for my mama because this is her life. And but she said this to me, and this lady is dead.
Mm-hmm.
This lady is gone. And I love this lady with all my heart. I loved her
And
with
that's
all
her
my heart.
problem. That's her problem that you love someone outside herself, but she didn't see how she was showing up to you.
Yeah.
That pushed
And
you to someone else.
yeah. And when you said about what Shahud said earlier, Queen, if I hear Luther Vandross here now, that's my song for my mama. Because my mama used to wake me up early in the morning, do my hair when I was little. And it seemed like that's the song I was hearing. Every time I heard that song, I cried. Because that's the song that showed my mama.
Mm.
Tell her that and she shut me down. She's like, whatever. I'm telling you, mama, every time I hear that song, I tell Maya that song right there, it just takes me there with my mama. That's my mama. I love her, but she is very
Mm.
hateful. And she told
I'm
me
glad
that
you said that.
she told me that her mom's boyfriend had whooped them with a fan belt off a car.
Wow.
Yeah, she let them whoop it. She let him whoop them. And
That's
this is
too deep.
Yeah, she said at one point when they was little, she said all thing we had in our house to eat was coffee and pecans.
But see,
That's the only thing.
it's hard, Anna. Like people want you to feel bad for they growing up. I understand, but that what they got to do with me and how you
Yeah,
raising me,
yeah,
how you showing up to me. You want me to tell you I'm sorry for something that I was not privy to. I was not a witness to it.
yeah,
Come on,
yeah,
stop it,
yeah. So
stop it.
my brother, he's my baby brother, and he was like, man, you and me and my oldest brother, he's like, y'all got what y'all got going, y'all shit that y'all got going through. Y'all need to, y'all making mama sick. If something happened to my mama, then I'm like, what? What they got to do with me?
Cause I already got my own issues going on. Why ain't nobody giving a fuck with what's going on with me and what I'm the child here. I don't understand why parents keep wanting their children to parent them.
Yeah.
Oh my
That's
God, I
my
can't.
auntie is gone. I don't want. I didn't call. My mama called me yesterday. I didn't answer my phone. She called me on my birthday. I didn't answer. She called me Thanksgiving. I don't want to talk because if you're not texting me and saying that you apologize what you said about my auntie, I don't want to hear nothing from you
Mm-hmm.
because you're wrong and you know you're wrong. Yeah, you don't like that, do you? I my favorite auntie gone too. I ain't say nothing about your auntie. I ain't say
Mm.
nothing about your auntie. I'm talking about you and you calling my auntie. This lady gone.
That's some bullshit.
It is some very much bullshit.
You know, I love you and I love you for coming on sharing your story. And you know your Amy is good.
Yeah, I know.
And I appreciate you. It's gonna be all right.
Yeah.
People just gotta be accountable for how they show up to people. And that's gonna be okay. Like you would have told you, you working on something. And I love everybody for coming on, for sharing y'all story and y'all testimony. And I'm gonna go ahead and get off of here so I can take me some more medicine and relax a little bit. My body's starting to hurt again. But
Yeah.
I love y'all deeply from a genuine place. Gratitude, y'all.
Right, so
Gratitude, Maya J. Gratitude, Nick T and Mia. Gratitude,
oops,
oh,
excuse me. My bad.
gratitude.
I was trying to get up under the covers.
Gratitude to
I'm sorry.
everybody in the chat. I love y'all.
Love you
I
too.
see y'all soon.
Okay.
Peace.